Good morning, River Park Church. You're joining me on a Wednesday morning, cool, crisp walk through my neighborhood in Bowness. And I'm thinking this morning about the 93 potential graves that were found in or near Williams Lake, BC, at the site of a former residential school there. It grieves me that we can even talk about this so matter-of-factly, that we don't have to that we almost feel as though we can just carry on with our lives and with the other news that continues in our world. I had wanted to share a reflection about grief and pain closer to Lent, but as many of us know, the grief and pain of our world doesn't follow the liturgical calendar of the year. It meets us where we are least prepared and when we are least ready for it. My heart aches for the First Nations people in Williams Lake, and closer to home here in Calgary, the Tsuut'ina Nation and others in Alberta. As a community, I see from the outside looking in that they know and feel one another's pain. They've banded together, not just to grieve together, but to seek justice together, to be able to continue to tell the stories of the children whose lives and whose stories were taken away from them. And whatever comes of these findings in Williams Lake, this is simply another part or another chapter of the grief that community feels and the pain and shame of our nation as we continue to try to work through our own complicated story. As I wonder this morning, I have a sense that there's something in that for us as a church. When the First Nations people of Canada can come together to acknowledge their painful past, to grieve and to seek judgment, or to seek justice, even though they're very different people with different traditions and separated across the country. It makes me wonder why or how the church might be able to do something similar. Not just to seek justice for those in our society has wronged, although that certainly is important, but also to follow their example, to find ways of acknowledging the pain of our own stories, to make room for grace and truth for one another. And when we hear truth, to work for reconciliation, for restoration, and for justice in our community. Of course, not all pain comes from one person or group wronging another one. But the church ought to be a place where we can hear one another's pain, where we can sit with one another in grief, and where we can lament together, bringing the brokenness of our world and the brokenness of our own lives to God. In these moments, I expect, like many of you, and here's a garbage truck. In these moments, I expect that, like many of you, I want to have answers. I want to make it easy. I want to have a simple solution. And I wonder if many of you feel the same way. But we don't have that opportunity in this moment. As we experience the pain and sorrow of our country, once again, hearing this news, and as individuals, we experience the pain and sorrow of our own lives. We know firsthand that there are no simple answers for the pain that we feel, and no quick way to make it go away. But I wonder if in this coming season, God is inviting us to something deeper. Not to run from our pain or to cover it over, but to sit with it for a while, to sit with one another for a while, and to see that God meets us in our pain, in our grief, in our sorrow, in our exhaustion. That's what I'm thinking about this morning. I hope it's been helpful for you to reflect for a moment or two with me. Pray for a blessing for you this day, and look forward to worshiping together this weekend, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. We'll continue our sermon series on unity. God bless you.